to do something like that?
First of all, it wasn't a decision to do something like that. And then second of all, I was given originally false information, and I found out otherwise, and I apologize to the community.
No, okay, in this video. What'd you hear right there? Yeah. She was given false information, she says. That's her excuse anyhow. But I want you to think about that. Okay, I want you to think about that a minute, because that's just the most lame and stupid excuse I ever heard in my life, because this is a mother who staged the funeral for her daughter. That's right. And she went to a church. She made arrangements for the funeral. She showed up with an urn. She showed up with a blanket. She showed up with something else from somewhere. I forget where it was. You have to watch the report here. Okay, because I've seen this a while ago. And anyhow, I guess what caught my attention here is the fact of how low she went. And what even really pissed me off more was the fact that she went ahead. The story to the church was that the father, that's right, the father of the child, raped and killed his own daughter. That was her story. That the father raped and killed her own daughter, his own daughter, okay? To get it. So then she gets up there and she gives him an old fucking sorry bullshit and lie, a fucking pity excuse in front of the church, excuse my language here. And then she storms out of there, okay? She didn't take any of the money with her. That's right. You know, and then she comes up with this lame excuse that you just saw there at the beginning, that she was given false information. Right. Sure, she wasn't. She wasn't given no false information. She's fucking sick. Okay, she's just plain right out sick. Exactly what she tried to do is use this to fucking line her pocket with money. Okay, and what made her change her mind at the last and run out of the church, who knows? But the lame excuse of she was given false information. So how do you come up with, and then they investigate it further and find out the urn that she carried into the church was actually that of her mother's remains, who passed away several years ago or whatever it was, okay? But yeah, she sits there and tells you there was no ashes in the urn. And she forgot to tell you she was carrying her mother's body, right? Oh, but maybe that was because she was given false information again, right? You suppose maybe it's because she was given false information again? Okay, so she was given false information that the father raped and killed his own daughter, and then that after all that happened, she had time to have it cremated, and she had the ashes with her, and she had time to do all this other stuff and go to church, but it was just false information. No, it wasn't false information. You're looking at a parasite right here. You're looking at the type of woman that, well, I'm sorry, people, but I wouldn't trust her. Any guy out there that would trust this gal, I don't know what to say for you, because I'll tell you what. When she's willing to fucking openly go into a community or church like that and tell people that the father raped and killed his own daughter, how would she like that accusation laid upon her? That the mother raped and killed her own son. Wouldn't that make her feel big? You know why she did that against the guy? Because she has to have attention. She wants to play the victim role. Isn't that what you people love to do? You love to be the victim. Even when you're the villain, you want to be the victim, right? Even when you're the perpetrator, you're the one doing the fucking crime, you want to be the victim. Isn't that right? Isn't that sort of like the school teacher who beat up the student in his classroom? Right there on video. And then there is that same teacher is a couple weeks ago in the media painting herself out as the victim. That's right. The full-grown adult female was painting herself out as the victim against the little boy she beat up. So she beats him up and she's the victim. Now fucking go fucking make sense out of that. That's what I mean, see? You want to all be victims, don't you? Especially the female population. Oh my gosh, yes, gotta be a victim. Gotta have the sympathy drip. Gotta have people's attention. You don't give a shit if it's negative or positive or what it's over, right? Just as long as you can have that attention. And then you gotta slam the male gender. That's right. You gotta continuously attack the male gender, and if the male gender speaks up back against the blatant attacks you lay on them, then the pussy whip guys will jump out of the woodwork and call you a woman hater because they're not even a man. They ain't got no balls. They're not a fucking man. They're just a fucking parasite. I mean, they can't be a man. How could you be a man? when you can't even recognize truth. Well, I know why you did that. You jumped out of the woodwork because you thought you could get your dick in her fucking hole because you think that's love. That's how stupid you are. And meanwhile, you're slamming your own self and your own gender, and you're making the woman's bar gets higher and higher and higher. And pretty soon the woman's going to be out of your reach too, pussy whip fool. You won't be able to get a gallon either. And then when you do get a gallon in your life, what are you going to have? Well, maybe you raped your own kid, even when you didn't. Because she's through with you now. She's tired of using you now. Maybe it's like the girl who tried to cut the tattoo off her boyfriend's neck of her name. That's right, because she's through using you now. After all, you're just a guy. Guys don't have feelings and emotions. Guys don't mean nothing. You can blatantly lie on a guy and say they raped and fucking molested and killed their own fucking child all you want, even if they never did it, right? So what if they get slammed in public? So what if some guy off the street shot and killed the guy thinking he really did it when he didn't do it because you run your mouth? No big deal. It was just a guy, right? This is fucking sickening, people. Watch this news report. Leave your comments and opinion. But this is very, very, very sickening, and it comes to show how low our society has sunk. And what kind of mother is this? This is a gal that you couldn't trust. This is a gal that I wouldn't be around. You couldn't trust her. And if you guys think, well, you get your dick in her hole, yeah, and you might get lots of years behind bars too, and she makes up a complete, utter fucking lie and bullshit story and carries it to the limit so that she can be the victim of something that never happened. Better think about that. To the next video, y'all have a good one.
Funeral service that has landed a Richmond mother in serious trouble. Good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Connor.
I'm Tricia Shepard. Police say the Richmond woman convinced a church to hold a funeral service for her daughter, who is not even dead. 6 News reporter Myrt Price headed to Wayne County and is on your side with what that mother is now saying.
I can't take it back. I can't change it. All I can do is apologize.
Angela Boyd is speaking out about the allegations that she orchestrated a fake funeral for her daughter in order to scam people out of money.
Of all the ways to try to con people out of getting money, this one, pretty much takes the cake.
Police say last week Boyd contacted the pastor of the new Life Church of Nazarene and told him her daughter Kaitlin had been raped and murdered by her own dad in Iowa. Boyd claimed her daughter had been cremated and she wanted to have her daughter's funeral at this church. The pastor agreed the church would have the services. When Boyd arrived at the church on the day of the funeral, he said everything seemed legit.
She had an urn in her hand. She had a plastic box with she had marked or written on it, donations to the Autism Society in memory of Katilin. She had also a memory blanket.
Unaware anything was wrong, the pastor gave the eulogy. After he finished, he says Boyd got up and delivered a heart-wrenching speech.
People are just bawling and crying and moved by emotion, and my heart is just aching.
When she finished, Boyd's brother got up and said it was all a lie and that Kaitlin was alive and well. Pastor Ronald Chappell says Boyd then ran out of the church screaming. Members later confirmed the brother was telling the truth, and they found out the ashes in the urn were actually Boyd's mom's, who had passed away a few years ago. When I caught up with Boyd, she tried to explain what happened.
What happened? What made you decide to do something like that?
First of all, it wasn't a decision to do something like that. And then second of all, I was given originally false information, and I found out otherwise, and I apologize to the community.
Did you try to call your daughter to see if she was okay after you got this?
No, I did not try and call. I didn't further investigate, and I should have. There were no ashes in the urn whatsoever. There wasn't even an urn.
Well,
there was nothing in it about money or anything like that. There was no trying to fleece people for money or trying to get money from anyone, as my brother stated.
Police later said Boyd confessed to the whole thing. Myrt Price, 6 News.
Well, police say that Boyd ran out of the church so fast she left the money behind. So far, she has not been charged, but police say she could face